Bills, Chiefs, the best game of the weekend on paper. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The rematch of all rematches.
Yeah. We've seen the Stephon Diggs photo, right? Stephon Diggs, I was telling Impy about this. He cleared his Instagram. There's 4 posts on there. One of his posts, the carousel, where it's a bunch of different photos. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bills Super Bowl confirmed or what? Stone Cold?
It's a great route to go.
Though, the Chiefs, they play time to play the
They
game.
do. Yeah. I think
down.
Kelsey's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Too many wrestling fans on this one. Yeah. But, this game, is it the AFC Championship? Is the winner of this game going to the Super Bowl? That's the consensus. I'm going to say yes. I agree. I think whoever wins this game goes to the Super Bowl.
Block my hat when I say this. I would agree, yes. Because, even if you look at that, let's forget about Kansas City, Tennessee. Kansas City they were disheveled at the time. But, that Buffalo game, you watch the game, Buffalo show one. Even though, look, Tennessee pulled out and you give them all the credit in the world, Jeffrey Simmons well play, Buffalo was kind of in control and they kind of beat themselves in that one. These are the 2 most complete teams, 2 of the most dynamic quarterbacks, both offenses. What a group of playmakers on both sides, and 2 defenses that just continuously improve. That's the underlying storyline here. Both these defenses kind of start off the year rough. They've had some dark moments, but man, they've both hit their stride.
Yeah. And think about it. Both of these teams have very similar seasons where, at some point, you're like, yo, is New England really going to win this division? Right. Are the Bills going to miss the playoffs?
Kansas City was in crisis mode in October. Buffalo was late November, early December.
And these were 2 teams that everyone was all right, the 1 and 2 seed, that head-to-head game week 5 or week 6 on primetime, Sunday Night Football, that's going to determine home field advantage as the 1 seed, right? Yeah. It did determine home field advantage in this scenario because the game is in Kansas City. But it was you had some weird losses for these 2 teams, right? That.
And that game had a huge rainstorm.
Yeah, it was it was one of those games where shit was just a weird game, but it was a weird season. Right. Both of these teams are coming off perfect performances.
Complete dominance.
Especially offensively. Yeah. Now, historically, this would be a situation where I'm there's going to be a letdown, right? Mm-hmm. But both of them are playing each other.
Right.
And it was something I was trying to explain to some of the guys in Discord and just even on Xbox with my friends, usually be careful about the team that looks so amazing one week playing a team that kind of snuck by with a field goal. But now, both these teams that won comfortably. The games were over by the 4th quarter.
But you have to say, though, Buffalo was a real statement.
Oh, yeah.
That was from the first drive. Remember, Kansas City was kind of no-showed that, I want to say the whole first half, but majority of first half, it wasn't pretty. Buffalo, from the first snap, boy.
Until the end, too. They were still popping people on defense and shit. They were not letting up. Right. And Josh Allen was still running the ball with up 32, which is wild. Yeah. So, you mentioned this a while ago about Tre'Davious White. I think this is the first time that his absence is going to be felt. They've played the Patriots twice in that span. They played a Mike Evans Tampa Bay team. Then they played the Jets. They played Carolina.
Played Falcons.
With no Ridley, right? This is the first time that they're going to play an absolute stallion on the outside in Tyreek.
That's a concern. Now, someone could say, and it was shown last week, that safety duo, boy, they can make them plays. Micah Hyde, that interception.
Yeah.
That's prime Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Just a range. Because Aguilar hit Levi Wallace with a double move. That, and that should have been a touchdown. But just a range on Micah Hyde. But can he do this against... Because they're going to play that too high. That's what you got to do against Tyreek Hill. But you see the rapport Mahomes getting with Pringle and Robinson, and Hardman's now making plays. They don't have to scheme up things for Hardman as much anymore. Now he can actually make plays on his own. So I think that's a concern. Buffalo's corner depth is going to get really tested. The Levi Wallace and Johnson. It's just it's a bit worrying. But in the middle of the field, those safeties and those linebackers, Matt Milano in particular, they're going to come to play.
In three career games versus Buffalo, all of which featured Tre'Davious White, 17 catches for 124 yards for Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. Kept in check, right? He usually has 5 for 124. You know, like they let him get his stuff underneath 7 yard out, or a 4 yarder or something like that. But man, I think that Tyreek goes ballistic this week, and this is gonna be the first time where they're gonna be like, yeah, Levi Wallace is cool and the too high safety look, because you also have Kelsey. You also got McKinnon now, who all of a sudden is like, yo, is that Jamal Charles out there? Like, I have one friend who's a Chiefs fan, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, when Mahomes came, I was like, I wish like Jamal Charles played in that offense. That would have been sick. He's like, he deserved to play in that offense.
Poor guy.
And I was telling him, I was like, yo, does McKinnon remind you? He's like, just like the build and stature. Like Jamal is like way better, but this new wrinkle, this new dynamic is just crazy.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that McKinnon, like the biggest development, is that Kansas City can now run their screen game properly. I don't think the other running backs were as efficient. McKinnon just has that patience and the timing, because I think Kansas City, for the past few years, been like the best screen team in the league, them in New Orleans, but it just hasn't really clicked this year due to the running backs, because it's just their running backs every week there's like a new player getting 8 to 10 carries. There just hasn't been no cohesiveness despite their O-line being among the best in the league. So now you got McKinnon coming. Like the two biggest developments from the wildcard round for each team is the fact that McKinnon they're comfortable using, and the fact that Buffalo, they've pretty much just saying now, Josh Allen, run the ball as much as you can. It's the playoffs now, because they really held back from calling those design quarterback runs during the regular season. I think after that Patriots loss, they're like, all right, we have to start giving Josh Allen the ball 8 to 10 times, because at this point, when he gets the ball, yards after contact, I think he's like 4 yards. Like that's how much yards pick up. Just after contact, it's the way, like, even though you want to protect your quarterback, he's just too much of a freak of nature not to utilize. So I think that's why those are the biggest developments for his teams, going forward now.
I personally, I want to protect my quarterback in October against the Jets. This time of year,
so much of an asset.
I'm guns blazing. Yeah. We're going out with what we do best, and if that means that big monster running the ball, like, yo, he's a tank.
Yeah, and we know Kansas City's not a good tackling team, so
I'm running you into the ground. Yeah. Like this notion of the running quarterback and he gets hurt and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't want Lamar running up 20 against the Jaguars. I don't want Josh Allen opening up the whole playbook against the Jets. Like, nah, this is where I want you to do all the shit that you're great at. So for me, I like the Chiefs because of no Tre'Davious White. I really think that his absence, this is going to be the first time that they're going to feel it. And this does feel like whoever has the ball last is going to score a touchdown. Yeah,
a couple also noble things about Kansas City going to this game. First matchup, Chris Jones didn't play. Melvin Ingram was on the team. Tre'Davious Ward was injured.
And that was the famous Tyrann Mathieu, Daniel Sorensen stuff.
And speaking of Daniel Sorensen, played 100% snaps in that game.
Yeah.
He'll be lucky to play 30% in this game, because he's pretty much a dime player at this point.
Yeah.
Like he actually might see more, just because, as we know, Buffalo will spread it out.
Oh, yeah.
Like those playmakers, I think that's going to make a huge difference. They're finally utilizing Isaiah McKenzie more, because I think at this point, they got to view Sanders and Beasley as role players. Like, to me, they're just guys.
They can't take over games.
Yeah. Like, they could play 40-50% of the time. But look, Gabriel Davis, that's their big play threat. We know how good Diggs is. Dawson Knox, you throw the ball in the air, he's probably going to come down with it. But McKenzie, you could use him on reverses, jet sweeps, get him in bubble screens. Like, you just utilize him in creative ways, and he just has the speed to just get away. Like, those Patriot players, they couldn't even get a hand on him at times. So I love the fact they have those playmakers, and now you have a steady running back. Like, how Singletary's emerged from being someone completely anonymous to now being this dependable back you give the ball 15 times a game. It's huge for them, because they just need some kind of balance.
Nah, they did. Do you think what do you think of which offense do you think is harder to deal with? Good question.
I think I would slightly lean Kansas City, just because their O-line's much better. Like that's the big concern about Buffalo's O-line. It's the O-line. You could get at them a bit.
Because I feel like these two quarterbacks might be 1 and 2. I asked this question to Impy. I didn't ask you this, so I would love to hear yours. We were talking about, like, if you knew for a fact that all these quarterbacks in the playoffs were going to have their A-plus game, whose A-plus game is the best of everyone's? Is it not these two?
I go Rodgers.
That's fair. But if he made the joke, he's like, yo, he always kind of has like an A game, right? Like he never has a bad game.
Rodgers has been so automatic. And the thing is, Josh Allen can be turnover prone, and Mahomes sometimes gets a little too confident with his arm. Like he'll put the ball in harm's way.
But I feel like Josh Allen might be the hardest guy to stop.
Like okay, that's fine. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like if Josh Allen has his A-plus game, I don't think anyone could beat Buffalo.
Especially because the way Daboll's constructed that offense, like. Boy, Dable, I can't wait to see him be a head coach next year. Like what he's doing right now, just setting him up, spraying the field with the playmakers, utilizing Allen on these runs. It's a work of art. And as long as I think they keep him protected, which will be difficult because Kansas City.
It's bag season, baby.
It's bag season, and that D-line's net. And look, they got players like Ingram's really come on. Chris Jones now in the interior, like they're going to get after him. And the secondary, they're making plays. It's just right now, I think Buffalo, you want to challenge these players. Like, you make them tackle you because that's the one thing I get concerned about with Kansas City. Just can they tackle? So it's a fun game. This is the best game of the week by far to me. And there's just so many. I was looking up so many statistics while preparing for this game. Like, another one I want to mention, in the past 3 meetings, on 144 dropbacks, Patrick Mahomes, 144 dropbacks, Buffalo has blitzed them just 9 times. And in the previous matchups, Mahomes had 63 dropbacks on that Sunday night game. 0 times Buffalo blitzed. And McDermott comes from that Carolina system where they blitz a lot. And Buffalo, they don't have any defensive linemen that are really particularly open. Like, Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison, Ed Oliver. They're not guys that necessarily are 10-sack guys. Like, they're just good rotating pieces. It's going to be interesting how they defend them because I think at this point, Buffalo's defense, I don't think they're going to blitz a lot. It's just a matter of, just don't let Tyreek Hill beat us. That's it. We'll take the stuff underneath, and we're just going to put faith in our offense that Josh Allen's capable of putting up 40 points. And it literally just might be one turnover might just make the difference.
Yeah. Nah, for sure, man. Like, I know I'm taking Tyreek everything over. Like, catches to score. Yeah. I really think this is going to be one of those, wild Tyreek games. And I think they're going to need it, too. Because I also think Diggs is a nightmare for Kansas City also. And I know he's going to be ready to play. Like, he's been waiting for this. And if you're Buffalo, this is what you asked for, too, dude. Like, one way or another, you were going to have to beat this team. Right. So either it was in the AFC title game, it didn't matter.
You wish they would have been home, but
right. But
they dropped some games.
You still had to go through Kansas City at some point. And in the NFC, the same shit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you're the Rams, it's like, at some point, Brady was going to be in our way, right? One way or another. Right. That's how everyone should feel in the AFC.
This divisional round, best play the best. And I don't know if you saw, there's a clip that's going around, before the game. Jordan Poyer was getting the team around, and they're like, you see those boys over there? They're so effing cocky. We're going to beat their ass for the first snap. We don't give a damn about everybody. They just have that mentality, Buffalo, and as they should. They truly think they're the best. And, look, they're a certified Super Bowl contender. And I think they look back at that Kansas City game last year because we were really excited about the AFC Championship game. And for them to
then it was like a dull kind of just...
They lost very decisively. The offense just didn't show up, and Kansas City just controlled the ball. They know this time they really have to bring it because they got this window right now. They're just... They really got to win the Super Bowl. The Buffalo's in this position. It's dude. Now.
Yo, I've been talking to some of my friends. I'm in a group chat with some college buddies that still live in the Rochester, Buffalo area. And some of them were telling me that they could get tickets to that playoff game last week for $90 at the 50-yard line, 3 rows back. Dude, it was 12 degrees. Because from a weather standpoint, no one wanted to be out there, even though it's a playoff game at home and shit. But I was just telling them, I was like, yo, bro, if Buffalo wins the Super Bowl, what happens to Buffalo? He's like, dude, you got to come up. If Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl, you got to just come and watch the Super Bowl with us, bro. Yeah. We're burning the city down.
That parade,
they're going to burn it down.
Literally, they're going to have to get tables from every state because they're just going to have to supply every table imaginable. We got to just make sure the tables are there for everybody.
Dude, if you were someone who was, in college during the Buffalo 90s, and now you're seeing this, you're probably in your 50s now. Like, you got to be saying to yourself,
Right.
like, yo, we're back. Like, we're
Yeah.
close again.
Because those Super Bowls, as you know, and Dallas fans know, they were colossal disappointments for the Bills.
Massive, man.
Yeah, so now it's just like they just had this offense. Like if when they're firing all cylinders, they really could be historically good. That's how good they are. So beyond.
I'm about to piss off all my Buffalo homies though.
You're going Kansas City, and you're feeling confident about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kansas City wins. I think it's really going to come down to, for me, the most fascinating matchup from one unit versus another, one player versus another. It's Tyreek Hill against his secondary, because I think Tre'Davious White was a guy who held him in check. I read you Tyreek's numbers in previous meetings.
Pretty pedestrian, yeah.
Below that, wide receiver 3 numbers, and you're talking about like a top 5 wide receiver in my opinion. I think no Tre'Davious White. I think Tyreek has a monster game.
Honey Badger coming up somewhere.
Always does in these spots, right? Yeah. Always just makes a big play somewhere. It's a batted ball. It's a scooped fumble. It's an interception. He just always shows up. And I think it's really Tyreek Hill. And then, look, man, Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, his only losses have been to Tom Brady.
Wow. This is our first difference. I'm going Buffalo.
Wow.
I'm loving Buffalo. I just trust our offense slightly more. And I'm a little concerned about these slow starts with Kansas City. Like, this is not the game where you have to start slow.
Yeah.
This is not the game where you have to start slow.
You don't want to fall down 10-0 to Buffalo.
No.
Ooh, that's another thing, too. If you're Buffalo, right? Say you're up 7-0, and then, it's 4th and goal inside the 10-yard line. Think you maybe go for it? Or?
Well, 10-yard line's a little much.
Yeah, 10 might be.
5
All right, so what about, like, balls on the 18-yard line, and it's 4th and 2? You're up 7-0.
This is the type of game you go for, bro.
You got to go for it, man. Yeah. Don't do that Houston Texans shit.
Because I think last year, even though the game wasn't competitive, they were kicking field goals a bit, and that kind of cost them. Even though Kansas City was the rightful winner, like, it was pretty one-sided. But I remember Buffalo, they got caught up in it, and they were kicking too many field goals. So I just think Dable and McDermott, they know they just have to go for it. But, yeah, no, this is by far, for me, the hardest game to call. Like, this was really difficult. But I'm just saying about this Bills offense. And I think they're just more organized defensively. And they're just going to pull this out at the end. But, man, whoever wins this, they're going to have to really earn it. Because the margin for error is so low. Because these quarterbacks, they're going to put up numbers.
If you just look at the breakdown of each game that we've done, we spent probably 60% of the show talking about Sunday. So that goes to show you just how colossal the Sunday games are.
I'm glad we got one difference.
And I think that the games are going to get more and more interesting as they go throughout the whole week.
Definitely more explosive, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be shocked. Like, because we know playoff football, things could happen. But it's just, if these teams score less than 30, whoever scores less than 30 is not winning this game. Like, this is a game where they got to score. That's just how it is.
So to recap, because we're going to make some graphics for this one, brother. You got Titans close. Green Bay blowout, Rams and Buffalo. I got Titans blowout. Well, lopsided 2-score game. I put.
I'm gonna say Rams win by 2 possessions. I think the Rams win pretty decisively.
Yo, you are getting me super like switched on, bro. All I want to hear is people being on the Rams.
I'm concerned about Tampa, and like it's hard not to be optimistic about the Rams after what they just did,
bro. Listen. It's just knocking, son. It's knocking. I got Titans and Green Bay. I think the Saturday games are going to be chalk, and they're going to be blowouts. And then I got the Rams and the Chiefs, and I feel stronger about the Chiefs. And the Rams, I'm the most conflicted on that game. I really don't know. Okay. But it's good. It's good to have differences there.
I want to wrap it up with this. 8 teams left. What would be your dream Super Bowl matchup?
The Rams and the Bills, because I'm financially invested.
All right, well, I guess we got to keep it like that.
Nah, but yo, honestly,
Chiefs Packers.
Either, there's so much because I'm like petty, and I love like I'm a fan of people that like fake outrage culture on social media. Green Bay going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, people would lose their shit.
I know.
And I would be loving it.
Number 12 just be, and then Devontae in the corner.
Like I would just be loving it. People just losing their minds.
But yours Rams Bills.
Rams Bills was my preseason pick. financially, that would be awesome. Yeah. But from like there's going to be a dope Super Bowl, I think whoever wins this Bills-Chiefs game versus the Rams from like a star power and like offensive stuff and even defensive stars too, I think those would be the most compelling. But even Green Bay too. Yeah. I mean, how long have we been wanting the State Farm Super Bowl, right? Mahomes and Rodgers.
Got robbed of it during the regular season.
Oh, yeah. We haven't gotten to see that. In the last two postseasons, we haven't gotten to see that.
Yeah. My choice, look, obviously I would love Chiefs-Packers, but from a fandom standpoint, Titans-Niners. Get Julio's moment. Get Shanahan back there. all the major networks are looking at me like that. Like,
bro, no. Jimmy G versus Tannehill? Fuck out of here, bro.
Give me just a funky matchup.
I gave you Mahomes and Rodgers, and then you give me Jimmy G and Tannehill.
I want fandom. It's not about the QBs, man. It's about the funkiness.
Oh, that was gross. Jesus.
Oh,
ground and pound, 1980s.
Against the three-headed monster at San Fran.
Enough.
Shanahan, give him his moment, especially after last week when he almost blew it. But there we go. It's going to be a hell of a weekend.
What a Super Bowl you want to see. Yeah. Let's fucking wrap this up. I can't do this no more.
Hey, I said Packers Chiefs would be the best quality, but in terms of fandom, look, I got ties to Shannon, and I want Julio in it.
I'm taking my anger out at jiu-jitsu right now. I'm not letting go when people tap, so you can blame Alan for that shitbag pick. Alan, where can they find you?
ALLENSDRK.
At Nick Day is 10 is where you can find me. At Veterans Minimum, you can find everything for the show. Check out the Patreon. Check out the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. 5-star rating on iTunes. You can rate on Spotify. Patreon, I think I said that. Super Bowl boxes, I think I said that. Hit us up in the Discord. Follow us. You know the vibes. We'll catch you next time.